And have you given any thought to the leakage of our investments and the breakthroughs that are made, the intellectual property leakage to adversary countries and parties, and how we might continue to be vigilant against that?
How could it be more clear than this week when DeepSeek, a Chinese AI, says they were able to create things dirt cheap? How? By leveraging what they've taken from us, stolen from us, or leveraged from us. It's outrageous, and it needs to be addressed.
A lot about this Chinese model that's been developed for artificial intelligence, and supposedly it's been done cheaper and better than the United States. Color me skeptical.
Well, it's easy to be cheaper if you steal it.
In previous hearings, this committee's talked about the United States AI capabilities and that we're in a dead heat with China. This week, we heard about DeepSeek, and that I think it's having us examine kind of where we are right now with that. If confirmed, given the Commerce Department's breadth of influence on that issue, how will you address different threats that we see coming from the CCP within these information and technology markets?
I take a very jaundiced view of China. I think they only care about themselves and seek to harm us. And so we need to protect ourselves. We need to drive our innovation, right? And we need to stop helping them. You know, open platforms, Meta's open platform, let DeepSeek rely on it. NVIDIA's chips, which they bought tons of and they found their ways around it, drive their DeepSeek model. It's got to end. If they're going to compete with us, let them compete, but stop using our tools to compete with us. So I'm going to be very strong on that. I'm thrilled to oversee BIS, and I'm thrilled to coordinate and empower BIS with tariffs that will improve the strength. When we say no, the answer's got to be no.
I look forward to working with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Young.
Good to see you, Mr. Lutnick. I enjoyed our visit in the office, and one of the things you demonstrated to me during that roughly hour of visiting is that you really understand that science and technology is going to play a very important role going forward in our economic growth and our national security. You also demonstrated an understanding that China has prioritized through a number of recent initiatives boosting science and tech funding and progress on a number of different technology fronts. How do you envision, Mr. Lutnick, should you be confirmed, increasing support and funding for basic research so that the United States remains at the forefront of global innovation and job creation?
We have the greatest university system in the world, and we need to encourage that productivity from our universities, from our great scientists. We need to enhance their ability to get patents, to protect them. We need to drive that model of AI innovation and make sure the baseline innovation is American. I mean, these things are vital for us, and we need to drive it. We need to have standards of cybersecurity and standards for AI innovation that keep things American exactly the way you think about it. It is vital for us to do it here and to do it now.
And have you given any thought to the leakage of our investments and the breakthroughs that are made, the intellectual property leakage to adversary countries and parties, and how we might continue to be vigilant against that?
How could it be more clear than this week when DeepSeek, a Chinese AI, says they were able to create things dirt cheap? How? By leveraging what they've taken from us, stolen from us, or leveraged from us. It's outrageous, and it needs to be addressed.
Indeed. Thank you. Mr. Lutnick, it's of paramount importance that the United States continue to lead in international collaboration and engagement on AI, which you just alluded to. And I would say the voluntary standards that has been done at NIST and that needs to continue to be done in some capacity somewhere. But if confirmed, NIST will be under your purview, and it's been a vitally important non-regulatory, that is non-regulatory agency when it comes to U.S. leadership on AI and focusing on voluntary standards rather than heavy-handed regulations. So what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence and the role that the Department of Commerce should play in supporting continued innovation? And will you commit to continuing to support the great standards work being done at NIST?
I'm happy to support. I think NIST has some of the greatest scientists in the world, and they understand AI technology, quantum technology. I mean, this is a central hub of knowledge of the American government, which I'm really excited to oversee. I think standards is the right model. As I've said, the way we've done cybersecurity, which is the gold standard of the world, and everyone in the world follows our model. I think we should try to have a light touch model like that in AI, set those standards so the world heeds our standards and goes with our standards would be very important for America and something I'm going to try to drive.
Yeah, you can imagine a future in which, through your leadership and those of others in the administration, we're able to tease out our own standards, harmonize those standards with other countries, non-China countries, and then for those countries to produce products and export them into the rest of the world, they'd have to abide by our standards of transparency and openness and consumer protection, all the rest of it. So I think you're headed down the right track there, and I hope we'll have an opportunity to work on that should you be confirmed.
I want to talk for a minute about something we've mentioned several times, and that's DeepSeek. In the release of the Chinese AI model, which was allegedly trained on a batch of export-compliant, older generation semiconductors for just a fraction of the cost of our models, it shows that China, however they got there, they might not be as far behind as we assumed. So if confirmed, how would you approach this issue and ensure that the United States wins the AI race against China? And I'd also say, as you enter this role, keep on your hat as an entrepreneur and don't lose that. I'm reflecting on Y Combinator Gary Tan, who said, as a result of this DeepSeek disruption a few days ago, he said 1,000 flowers will bloom, and that's specifically as a result of DeepSeek. So how do you see this as an opportunity, and how do we win here?
What this showed is that our export controls, not backed by tariffs, are like a whack-a-mole model where they get prevented over here and China figures out a way around it over there. We've got to find a way to back our export controls with tariff model so that we tell China, you think we are your most important trading partner. When we say no, the answer is no. It's a respect thing. They've disrespected us. They've figured out their ways around it. I do not believe that DeepSeek was done all above board. That's nonsense, okay? They stole things. They broke in. They've taken our IP. It's got to end, and I'm going to be rigorous in our pursuit of restrictions and enforcing those restrictions to keep us in the lead because we must stay in the lead.
Thanks for that. The next question I want to ask you about the risk of our models being hosted on Chinese servers for American users and the risk of reverse engineering models. The broader question really is about IP. So would you dig into a little bit about how you want to enforce intellectual property, American intellectual property?
I think the Chinese use our patent office against us. They use our laws. They have huge applications, and those applications are growing like fire. Their trademarks, you know, what they would do is they would say Senator Bud, and then they'd say S Bud and S Bud S. You know what I mean? They just go right around your trademark and abuse it. So I think we need to stop that. We need to address it. We need to stop it. We need to end it. And we need to have countries understand if you do not respect our company's IP there, you should not respect the same treatment here. Reciprocity is a word that really is effective. We are treated horribly. We want that to change, or you should expect the same treatment here.
Thank you. I want to ask this with your financial background. I mean, DeepSeek's founding company, I think it also owns a hedge fund. I'm still getting information on this. Do you think there's perhaps a financial play from China because of the loss in market cap? Was it perhaps even a short sale play on our markets?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it worth looking at?
Of course.
Thank you. Are you concerned that in the U.S. we're focused, and perhaps even here in Congress, we're focused on regulating our own AI activities at the expense of China taking a lead and unlocking AGI or artificial general intelligence before we do?
Yes.
What do you think we need to do here to prevent us falling in that trap?
We were successful on the internet and created the greatest technology companies in the world because we had an American touch of it, right? We did the internet the American way, and that's why the tech companies of the world are ours, right? We need to do the same thing with AI. We need to make sure we set standards that the world meets, so they're American standards that the world meets. And I think that's the way we'll keep our lead. Do it the American way, which we know is the winning way. Our allies know is the winning way. And we need to set those standards.
Thank you.
I think many people have touched on AI, and I'm on armed services and commerce, so you see kind of the military application, the commercial application, and I think a lot of people view it in separate buckets. But the truth is, for the Chinese Communist Party, everything's dual use. Everything is dual use. And civilizations have come and gone because they lose the technology race in a military application. And I think that it's what we're talking about with AI, the energy that's required to go do this, and the innovation. We're better innovators than them. They copy pretty well, but what we can't allow them to do is be better innovators than us. And I think that this DeepSeek's been mentioned. It's possible that they've used something called distillation, which is they use what we do really well. They ask a million. They have an algorithm that asks what we have 1,000,000 questions, and essentially copy what we've done to gain the advantage that it's possible. That's one explanation for what we saw. But my hope is that it's sort of a Sputnik moment for us, that our focus is less about controlling this, which some of the proposals we've seen the last couple of years were about controlling or locking in incumbents. I don't think we need to do that. That's the European model. But to really have real innovation here and not be distracted with sort of the woke AI. We saw this, the Black George Washington stuff. I mean, we cannot be distracted with this. Like, this is the real deal. AI is the real race. And I know that you're very focused on this and you've talked about this, so I don't want to ask you the same question, but just as it relates to locking in incumbents, making sure we have really robust competition in this space, can you talk a little bit about that with the time that I have left, which is none?
We need to have the lead. We need to stay focused on it. We need to get the nonsense off the chart and just focus on raw artificial intelligence, making us the leader and have the standards that we are the leader. It is vital for us. And I think your points are very well made.
Look forward to working with you, Mr. Lutnick. Congrats.
Thank you.
Following up with Senator Schmidt, I don't know if this is a Sputnik moment, but it is at a minimum a Lutnick moment. Senator Blunt Rochester.
A lot about this Chinese model that's been developed for artificial intelligence, and supposedly it's been done cheaper and better than the United States. Color me skeptical.
Well, it's easy to be cheaper if you steal it.
Right. And so my question is, how do we finally get to accountability for this? Because I want a really productive relationship with China, but as long as there's no accountability, we can't have that. How do you, in your role, how do we get to accountability on this? And then second, can we acknowledge this is TikTok on steroids, right? If we're worried about the influence of the CCP on America with TikTok, this is on steroids. Can you just address both of those quickly?
I think the first answer is reciprocity with China. How you treat us is how you should expect to be treated by us. I think we have let them off the hook for far too long. They treat us horrifically in China, and yet we let them ride roughshod over us here. That needs to end. I think the term reciprocity, which sounds fair, would show that they are treating us horribly. So that's the first step, I think, a good word for this administration to repeat endlessly. Reciprocity. Treat others the way they treat us.
It was earlier that mentioned the Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute that's underneath you, and if that needs a new life or new legs, I'd love to work with the Senate and yourself to give you the tools.